How long is it going to take to fix my car?
I don't know, how badly is it damaged? You know, these handy dandy formulas, I think I've showed that they really don't work. Uh, they really don't even get you in hand grenade range. You can get a bumper on a Mercedes that, if it's a special one, could be 30 days out. How does that fit into this formula?
I think I can do that kind of math right in my head.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Airing of Grievances. Happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday.
And to you. All right, let's start this episode by saying, first and foremost, thank you to each and every one of you who has been participating in viewing the episodes and sharing the episodes on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter. We're super grateful. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And while we're at it, if you're new here and you've never been to this channel, we invite you to click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That will let you know every time we upload a new episode. But we can cut some of the brain stress out of that by letting you know that we do it every single Saturday morning at 9:30 in the morning in the Mountain Standard Time. All right?
Sure.
With that, Rob, we're going to cover two things today. And
I'm only getting paid for one.
You're getting paid? So the first thing that we want to talk about is the number one most asked question ever in both our website and also in person. And that question is, how long is it going to take to fix my car? We're going to talk about that. But we want you to stick around towards the latter part of the video, because then we're going to actually give you one of the insurance industry's sneaky little secrets that they like to pull on people in the middle of a repair. And if you don't think that you're going to be affected by it, you probably will, or you already have been. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Rob, how long is it going to take to fix my car?
I don't know, how badly is it damaged?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
You know, we wrote an article many, many years ago on our website
Yep.
by the title, How Long Will It Take to Fix My Car?
Yep.
And to this day, many years later, it is still the number one most popular article that we've ever written.
By a long shot.
Because people just want to know. You know, they take their car to a shop and they're out of a car, and we're going to talk more about that later. But how long does it take? And granted, a bumper, you know, a little fender bender is going to take less time than a four-car pileup, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we start the conversation?
Well, we start the conversation, I guess, with how badly is it damaged?
Yeah.
And, you know, we got to work through the steps from the beginning, you know, on up. How quickly is the insurance company going to do what they need to do? And, you know, are they going to cooperate and, you know, act like they want to take care of you, or are they going to, you know, drag their feet?
Now, we're going to get into the weeds here a little bit with some of the things that happen behind the scenes that you, the consumer, are most likely unaware of. You have a broken car and you want your car fixed.
Simple enough.
Right? But behind the scenes, there are a lot of moving parts, and the insurer has a role to play. It's a chess game going on behind the scenes. Is that right?
Yeah, it can be. And then, you know, you have other insurance companies that we know that they have your best interest at heart, and the car goes right through the system and gets back faster than anybody expected.
All right. All right. So really,
So they have a big role in how long it's going to take to get your car fixed.
you bet the insurance company that you choose could determine
How fast or slow.
yeah. All right. Well said. Okay. So take us through the process, if you will.
You have the accident, insurance company appraises it, then it gets to us, we look at the appraisal, disassemble the car, write up a supplement that is more exact as to what the vehicle needs, a blueprint, if you will, or a repair plan.
Sure.
Send that back off to them. They review it. Could be a day, could be a week, depending on what insurance company. And size, in this case, does not matter. Could be a small insurance company or a large insurance company. Some of them, largest ones, really like to drag their feet, believe it or not.
That's not very encouraging for those of us who just wanted to save a certain percentage over a certain amount of time.
Yeah. So, that's where it really begins. And then we have to get an agreement on principle as to how this vehicle is going to get repaired.
You
and the insurance company.
The repair, not just us, but the repairer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any repairer.
And the insurance company have to come to an agreement.
On behalf of the guest, because it's the guest's car, it's the guest's insurance that's covering it, or a third party. Regardless, we're fixing the vehicle for the owner. We're fixing the car for the owner of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, the insurance company is just in the middle there.
I think this is a good time to perhaps identify who's serving who in this equation, because the insured has a contract with
their insurance company.
Mm-hmm. Right? It's not always their insurance company that's...
May not be, and then they wouldn't have a contract. The other insurance companies still have an obligation, but there's no contract in play.
Gotcha.
Except for the contract they have with the person that hit you.
Does the insurance company, any of them, have a contract with you?
Negative. We have no contracts or obligations to any insurance company. Our obligation and contract is with the vehicle owner, the guest.
And when you say guest, that's our guest.
That's our guest here. And that's the way it works no matter where you go.
That's right. Yeah. Some people call them customers. We call them guests. And that's just an indication of how we perceive the relationship, right? Mm-hmm. They're a guest in our home for the most part. So we've established that the insurer, whether it is the contractual insurer, your insurance company, or the insurer whose insured hit you in an accident, they are bound one way or another to you. We, or the repair facility, is bound to you. And that's the dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah.
So
there's players, lots of players.
And you're in the middle. So now that the players are all on the board, if you will, mm-hmm. and we understand that there's, the insurance, there's the repair facility, and then there's you in the middle. Mm-hmm. You have to choose who's going to have your best interest in mind. And to that end, we've already covered in some of our previous videos the nature of that relationship and who really is doing, first of all, who's doing the repair,
yep,
the professionals, and then who's doing the paying.
Who's the funder,
right?
Bill payer.
The ones who have been paid all your life for the service that you now need. And you've got to figure out who's on your side, right?
Yep.
We got that. How long is it going to take to fix my car?
Depends on how bad it is, and depends on what insurance company you have. Could be parts availability. Could be so many different factors that go into it.
All right. We're going to come back to parts availability in just a minute, but take us down the journey of an example that you have that we talked about earlier today, and help our viewer understand the process.
Okay. Well, thank you. So here we have an estimate from an insurance company. This is an estimate of record, or the first estimate that they're writing on the vehicle. Happens to be a 17 Lexus RX 350, very popular vehicle.
Sure.
And it's I'm sure it's not going to surprise you that the insurance company has found a way to quantify how long it's going to take to fix your vehicle.
Oh, so you can't answer it directly, But the insurance company can tell the consumer, our guest, what they believe it's going to take.
Well, they have their fancy little formulas. So let's take a look at this. And I know you'll put this up on the screen for everybody.
Yes.
But this particular example, they use the labor hours that are associated with the repairs. So just for an example, if we're going to replace a fender, it might be 2.5 hours to replace the fender,
Okay.
not including refinishing it and all the rest of that. But so there's hours associated to almost everything. And they take those hours, total them up, and to divide them by 3 in this particular insurance company's case. Yeah. And so what they're assuming is that you're working on the vehicle at least 3 hours a day, every day.
Okay.
All right.
Including weekends when you're closed?
I believe they do not include weekends.
Okay. All right.
So in this example, it's 43.2 labor hours divided by 3 is 15 days.
For this particular car's damage.
Yes, and the damage to this vehicle totals $6,900, so call it $7,000, which is very average these days.
Sure.
Very, very average these days. So we've decided, or they've decided, it should take 15 days.
15 days.
And we'll talk about the tricky part of that later on.
Yes,
but,
we will. Stay with us, folks. This is going to be worth it.
So here's where it gets interesting, is the vehicle loss date was in January 14th, but they wrote this estimate January 22nd at 6:30 at night. So that's really January 23rd,
which is almost, it's 9 days after the accident.
It's 9 days after the accident.
Okay.
So let's take the 9 days.
Yes.
And we're going to add to it the 14 days.
15.
15 days?
Yeah.
Okay, 15 days.
15 days.
So what's that going to get us? 24 days.
Yep.
And if your policy is for 30 days...
Now we're going to talk about that policy that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Your rental policy.
Your rental policy.
Okay.
Let's just say it only covers 30 days. We're there.
Yeah.
This is going to run out of rental, because this initial estimate is nowhere near what it's going to take to properly fix this vehicle.
Because this is the initial estimate. It's not what we really know after we disassemble the car.
Correct.
And get into it. Okay. So we're at 24 days without knowing. And if you've got a 30-day rental policy, then you could run out.
You could run out.
Okay.
But keep in mind that 8 or 9 days
Yep.
was already used up by your insurance company.
Yeah.
Before they even produced a document. So, and there's lots of things to consider. Running through this estimate, and again, Eric, I'm sure you'll put some slides up there. So we talked about the fact that it's the labor hours divided by 3 in this particular case.
Yes.
But what does that say right there?
It says 4-wheel alignment.
Okay, and how many hours are associated with it?
There are 0 hours associated with it. There's
okay,
not
so
even
they're going to pay for the alignment.
Yes.
All right, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But and then down a little further, I'll just recap this real quick.
You say they're going to pay for the alignment. That's the amount for the alignment.
That's the price of the alignment.
I got you. Okay.
Okay. Then we have the blind spot monitor, calibration, and another calibration that needs to be done. So here's 3 items that will go to the dealer to be done.
Right, because we're not doing an alignment here. We're not doing those calibrations.
We're not doing those calibrations here. We're going to
Okay.
send them to the dealer to have the dealer do them.
And that's normal.
For us, it's normal.
Yeah.
For other people, they wouldn't even know they need to be done. But in any case, that's a different story. In any case, there's no labor time associated with those things. And yet, we're going to have to take people and drive or tow the vehicle to the dealer, depending on if it's safe or not.
Right.
They're then going to have to dispatch their people, the technicians and so on and so forth, to actually do it.
At the dealership.
At the dealership.
Yeah.
And then when they're all done, They're going to call us, and then we need to go get it and bring it back and finish it off. That could be a day. It could be 3 days.
Depending on their workload.
Depending on their workload, or, if depending on how advanced it is. Some of these calibrations require it going on, different pieces of equipment and setting up there's so many different, just in these 3 items that I talked about.
Yes.
That are going to take at least 1 day, could be several days, and none of that was figured into their calculation because there's no labor hours associated with it. So they're already not correct with their assumption that the repairs are going to take 15 days.
And folks, this is why it's so difficult to give a definitive answer on how long is it going to take to fix your car when the insurer doesn't even start until 8 or 9 days later. And that's not always the case, but in this case.
Mm-hmm. And this is a company that is Johnny on the spot.
You would think, right? And because it's not always in our hands, we have to hand that off to the dealers to have them do it, and they have to put it into their rotation.
Yep.
Account for their labor,
mm-hmm.
and all of those other things beyond the price of the actual alignment or recalibration therein.
Can I bring one more thing into after reviewing this?
I don't know if we can handle anymore, but let's see what we got.
Well, this particular company likes to write parts that are not made by their original manufacturer, so aftermarket parts.
Okay.
So in this 15 days?
Yes, that was what they wrote for the original.
Yeah, 15 days.
Yes.
They want us to source parts from, starting at the top, Atlanta, Georgia. So we need to call the people in Atlanta, Georgia, and order parts and get them shipped in.
For those of you who are watching this and don't know exactly where we are located, we're in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
So that's across state lines by a few states.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we have a different supplier that they want us to get a few different parts from, and they're in Missouri.
Okay.
Fenton, Missouri.
Yep.
And then there's another place they want us to source some parts at in Commerce City here locally.
All right.
And in addition to that, in Aurora, which is also locally.
Sure.
But we're going to have all these parts coming from all these different places and hope that they're even correct when they get here. Because these are not made by the manufacturer. Does that add any time to it?
Clearly it would.
And have they included any time in that 15 days for all of this stuff?
I'm just going to
because we can't fix the car without this stuff.
Yeah. I'm just going to take a wild guess and say no.
Yeah.
However, I think it's important to ask a relevant question at this point, and that is, they are asking you to source those aftermarket parts, which most body shops would be on automatic.
Order them.
Just order them, right? And it might take a week. It might take, with these days, you never know. It could be several weeks before you get those parts in. But let's just back it up one more, because we've already had, and I'll put a link to another video up here. We've already had a conversation about aftermarket parts, and the way we feel about those here.
Yeah.
Because
we won't be ordering parts from all these different places. We only order them, in this case, from Lexus.
From the manufacturer.
Right.
Right? Okay. So you've just given us a whole bunch of ways that you can experience delays.
Yeah. Sometimes the administration takes so much longer than the actual repairing of the vehicle.
I believe that.
And, when you ask how long is it going to take, there's so many different things that go into that equation that it's really very, very difficult to say.
Yeah.
If we were going to talk about the actual repair time, how much time will it take? We could take a pretty good guess at that.
Sure.
But we can't guess at how how the insurance company is going to react and do things, except for a few insurance companies that we know truly have your interests at heart and want to act in good faith and want to get that car done for you. So they just say, get the car fixed and we'll get her done.
This brings up an interesting point, because in several of our videos we've referenced that there are insurance companies who you would think they might be on your side, but they're not. In this case here that you're just describing, this is an insurer that you might think is on your side. Insert the appropriate jingle. However, there are insurance companies that are on your side for real and who will handle the negotiations in an expedited manner to get you whole. We've been receiving a lot of questions about who are those people and what are they doing. If you have questions about things like that, drop them in the comment section below.
Yep,
okay?
We'll answer them.
Happy to discuss that with you. We're just not going to put that as a part of the video part. But if you need to have a conversation about your insurer and whether or not you've got one of the good guys or one of the ones that tend to make this conversation muddy,
more difficult.
Yeah. Put that in the comments below and we'll talk it out with you. All right? Okay. So, Rob, we've covered that part of the question. How long is it going to take? It depends. And I'm sorry that
I really am.
That you can't get any more detailed than that.
We want to get the car back to you.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're not holding the car or, doing, delaying any of the repairs. We want you to have your car back. That's when I get paid.
Yeah, you don't get paid $1.
Well, we will get checks in the meantime, but they all stay in the file, and we do not cash a check until after the vehicle is delivered. So it's in my best interest and everybody's best interest here to get the car through the system, but we will not cut corners.
Yeah, that's critical.
Just to save time or anything else. And yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the sneaky little surprise that happens in the midst of it. We just kind of touched on it just a bit ago, but now let's really talk about this. The rental policy, the rental car policy that you may or may not have.
Or it may be the right amount of days, or it may not be.
Yeah.
There's people out there with, 15 days, and it's all over the board.
Well, and the reason that maybe people have 15 days or didn't opt into that at all is because they want to save 15% or more.
Yep.
Right? You never know. You get these people who really want to save on their monthly premiums instead of getting the policy that's going to serve them the best.
Yeah, and rental policies are cheap. And I recommend you get the most robust policy that they offer.
All right.
And I'm talking, they're cheap. Ask your agent, you're not even believe it. Some of them are 1 day of rental would give you this much coverage. I mean,
really?
Yeah, it's
all right.
It's incredible how reasonable they are. Get the most robust policy that they have. Because keep in mind, this we already know is going to run out of rental.
Yes.
All right? Using their little handy-dandy formula, and the fact that they don't have everything on here, and the fact that they waited 8 days to even look at it, and we're nowhere near done on the thing, we know they're going to run out of 30 days. This is a $7,000 repair. Many repairs are far more than that.
Is it often the case that people are surprised in the process of a repair that their insurer all of a sudden stops covering or providing rental car compensation?
Happens all the time. It happens all the time. So when you get your rental policy, assuming you have a rental policy, and let's just say you have a 30-day rental policy, the rental policy says up to 30 days. That's up to 30 days. So if they feel as though your repair is going to be 14 days, they're not paying 30 days. They're paying 14 days. Now this is going to go up, and they will max out. They'll get their whole 30 days, but it's going to take longer than 30 days. But if they decided to say, it's 15 days is all we're paying because that's what our formula says.
That's it.
They're cutting you off at 15 days, even though you have 30 days of rental coverage.
I want to ask the question, what happens then? What happens to our guest at that point?
they either need to pay for the rental themselves, find another car. It gets really muddy, and it's frustrating for everybody but the insurance company.
Yes. So on that note, then I want to ask you, the viewer of this video right now, have you ever been surprised in the midst of a repair, or have you ever been surprised, A, by the condition of your repair, or B, by how long it takes, or C, have you ever been surprised by your insurer when it comes to your rental car? If you have, drop a little note in the comments below.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely, and your stories will help others who are watching this video as well. Well, there you have it, Rob. We've covered.
I wish I had a better answer for everybody. You know, these handy-dandy formulas, I think I've showed that they really don't work. They really don't even get you in hand grenade range. You can get a bumper on a Mercedes that, if it's a special one, could be 30 days out. How does that fit into this formula?
I think I can do that kind of math right in my head.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
So get the most robust rental policy you can, and we'll do our part the best that we can. I promise you that. But
yeah. All right. We want to thank you for taking the time out on a Saturday morning to join us, or whenever you're watching this. Super grateful for it. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, a like on the video. That helps us grow this channel.
Pretty please.
Share this video. Grab the link and share it with your friends on social media, because this is not an industry piece for the industry. This is a video for you, the consumer, who needs to know the things that happen behind closed doors, if you will. The
behind the curtain.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So share it, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time we put out a new video. Thanks again for watching the Airing of Grievances. I'm Eric Reamer. This is Robert Grieve.
Happy Saturday to you, and thanks for joining us.